Greetings everyone, it's been almost 2 months since I've last showed you this fish tank, this Riparium, a shallow Riparium unheated South American setup. And to be honest, I didn't take a proper care of my tanks over the last months or so because of work, lots of other commitments. So they've been kind of running wild and overgrown with plants over this time. And I haven't done a water change on this tank for probably 3 weeks at least. Well, it doesn't require too much maintenance, which is a great thing for busy people like myself or lazy people like myself. So, yeah, let's have a look at what's happening in this system, and let's just kind of have an overview of this Riparium tank. So initially this used to be a black water tank, but over time I was just too lazy to add a rooibos tea, which allowed me to keep this fish tank black water, and also at some point I stopped adding any leaf litter or any botanicals. So it's not really a black water system now, it's a kind of a, I would say, yellow water tank. And so there's certainly some remnants of tannins in the tank, but not much of them. As you can see, above the water part of this tank is just booming. There's lots of things happening and the plants are growing like crazy. Over here we have two species of fern. I don't remember the exact names of these ferns. I will leave them in the video description. Both of them are growing quite a lot. So they've actually been really small ferns when I planted them here, and now they're quite enormous. They're really huge. In here we have one bromeliad, and it's hard to say whether it's growing. I actually planted it on the edge of this piece of driftwood, and it's wrapped in sphagnum moss, dry sphagnum moss. In the back we have a pink Anthurium. I think it's called pink Anthurium, but I will leave its proper name in the description of the video. And it is also growing quite well, actually. Lots of fresh leaves. All of these bright leaves are fresh. And well, in the back of the tank there is a Parlour palm, or Areca palm. It is actually growing, but it's not growing as fast as other plants in this system. Yes, the ferns are certainly the most fast-growing plants in here. I also have some water lettuce, which seems to be going yellow. Apparently it doesn't have enough nutrients, and maybe doesn't get enough light. And I only have, I think, just two pieces of Amazon frog beet left. If you've seen an earlier videos of this tank, it used to have lots of duckweed on top and lots of Riccia moss, but now all of it is gone. I think it just doesn't have enough nutrients, and there's some duckweed left behind. You can see there's a kind of a small pool of water in here, and that's it. And over here I still have this island made up of Riccia moss. It's actually a piece of bogwood that kind of stays closer to the surface of the tank, and it gets covered with Riccia moss. And now this Riccia moss, it grows immersed. It actually grows outside of water. So yeah, it's kind of surviving in that condition. There is also, of course, quite a lot of Java moss, which grows immersed out of water, and it's been doing really great. So what's happening in the tank itself underwater? The population is still the same. There's a bunch of black neon tetras. There are some bloodfin tetras and some Serpae tetras. A while ago, I also added a pair of Inca apistos, Apistogramma baenshi. I can only see male here, and he's actually hiding most of the time, or no, he's here actually, yeah. It's quite a small fish, so not easy to spot it. Because these species of apisto, they are quite tolerant to unheated tanks, so they seem to be doing great. But other than that, there were no changes in terms of the population. This tank is still kind of a swamp type of biotop setup that doesn't have much flow, so there is no flow here. There is a canister filter down there in the cabinet, and it's a Eheim 250 canister. Its outflow pipe is behind. In here, you can actually see the pipe, but you can't see where it is. And yeah, you can see the spray bar in the back, and it pushes water through the roots of the ferns and through the moss. So it keeps all these structures moist, but it's a relatively mild flow of water through that pipe, and it certainly doesn't create any commotion in the lower part of the tank. And yes, things are quite stable in here. I've recently checked water parameters and everything seems to be in norm. Occasionally, when I remember, I fertilize these plants, well, of course, the riparian plants, once in a couple of weeks. Yeah, so certainly this system seems to be prospering, especially its above water part. Below water, there's just no plants, and the fish are they're hardy. They're quite tolerant of unheated conditions. Yes, I have a small heater in the back here, but it's not on because the room temperature, which is about 22 degrees Celsius, is sufficient for all of this fish and certainly sufficient for all of these plants. So it's a relatively low tech setup. It has one lamp in here, LED lamp. It's a all pond solutions lamp, and no other equipment actually. I'm not dosing any CO2, and yes, actually, there's nothing else that I do to this tank, and it looks really beautiful, and it kind of decorates our living room in a very nice way. There's a couple of house plants on its sides. This is a dwarf banana, which seems to be dying actually. It doesn't seem to be doing well, but we'll see. It usually doesn't do well in winter, and it may go back to life in spring and summer. And then here we have some Dracena, which seems to be enjoying the light from the LED lamp. In the back, I have a piece of golden pothos, which wasn't doing very well in my other tank, so I just added this piece in here, and it seems to be going back to life in here. And yeah, essentially that's what's happening with this fish tank, and it's a bit of an update because I haven't made any videos for really long period of time. I think for over a month. So I just wanted you to show what's happening with this tank, and in my next video I'll be showing you our other Riparium tank, much larger system in our bedroom. Right, so I hope you like this video, and just leave your comments and questions in the comment section, and I will see you soon.